Oh.
Morning. Let's call this December 13th Commissioners Meeting to order. If you'll join me in the pledge and a short prayer. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless our county and our nation. We ask for your guidance and wisdom in making good decisions that would be pleasing unto you in resolving the county's issues. We also ask that you allow all of us through this holiday season to be blessed with safety and health, and remember what the reason for this season is. In your holy name, amen. Amen. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the minutes of the last meeting? If so, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. The commissioners had an opportunity to review the claims, and if so, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve claims. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the payroll? If so, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve is presented.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve payroll. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. I have monthly reports from the clerk, the treasurers, weights and measures, and a result from the sprinkler test from Elwood Sprinklers. Do I have a motion to accept these reports?
So moved.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept reports as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. I have a food and beverage claim from Newcastle EDC project from Myers Furniture and Appliance for $11,581.61. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve food and beverage claim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Department heads. There she is. Angela.
No, you can do it here. Yeah, you can do it here. It may be separate, but you can do it
We'll
here.
let you do it all at one time.
All at one time and be done. Okay. Let's see. I don't think I have anything just overtly from a department head standpoint, other than we're getting excited to post a couple of positions anyway, and the state requires that be done for 30 days, and they have a new website that we're mandated to use to post those positions. So Addie just got me back the final job descriptions that you approved for me to get updated back in August. So we'll be moving on that. And then the other thing is bringing you a second project for opioid funding request. So, Bobby, did you pass?
I did.
They have it? Okay.
Mhm.
I have with me, though, Ed Hill and Nan Polk from Hope Initiative, because this all kind of runs together. We're working together. And then Mr. Bruce Aaron from the Guest House, because this, again, will involve some things with that. So we have been afforded this opportunity about the Westminster property on 2600 C Avenue. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but it's the Westminster Community Center. And for a while, they've been trying to, they were unable to find a director And so function ceased, and then they tried to sell it and didn't have a lot of luck with that. So it has come to us as a gift. And I go tomorrow evening to the guest house board of directors to ask them for confirmation. I've been speaking with them kind of individually, but of course they'll have to approve it as a board. But the Presbytery for Central Indiana is willing to gift this property to a nonprofit who will carry on their mission of helping people in Henry County. And so I want to thank the guest house for even considering that, because taking that on, will mean upkeep and maintenance and different things like that. So looking at what our immediate need is for females in our county, we have very little place for them to go, whether they're just homeless in general or whether they have a substance use disorder on top of that. And the thing about Westminster property is we could take possession as early as January 1, and it is really in pretty decent shape. The upstairs has 3 offices, a slight kitchen, and an open area, and 2 restrooms. We can jumpstart the program that Hope Initiative has brought to you for Fresh Start Housing, because they're still working on a house, which hopefully we've got some good news to share about that today. But it's going to take a little bit of time. But it's the middle of December, it's cold, and I have a need now. So hopefully within less than 30 days of possession, we could quite possibly have 6 individuals enrolled in our Fresh House Starting program who will reside in that second floor of the Westminster building. And then the other immediate need is just emergency 24-hour shelter, like overnight shelter. And I will liaise and work with Bruce and the guest house to kind of figure that out. We've got some staffing issues and things that we'll need for that. But the hope is to at least open up a portion of the downstairs of the building so that we can have some ladies some emergency shelter out of the cold. And with that said, phase 2 then will happen. I've given you a 6-month budget to look at. And the people from the First Presbyterian Church, Jerry Krupp, came up, dug through all of their files for me, and gave me averages for almost 21 months. And that is when the building was active to the extent that Westminster was using it. So we didn't have people there overnight, didn't have that heat at a living level all 24 hours, etc. So if you'll look at that, I have given you the average and the dates of those averages for the electricity, the gas, the security system, and the internet service. For the electric and the gas over to the right, I did increase that by 50% because if we've got somebody staying in there and the water usage and things like that are going to go up. So I'm hoping that will cover it. And then the security system, it's needed, but it's a set rate. So I know what that will be for 6 months, as well as the internet service. And that'll be important because the program director or anybody, there's a lot of things, services that we will have these individuals working with use the phone now, and they'll have to have internet for that, SNAP benefits and different things like that. And then in order for us to have the ladies move upstairs as quickly as possible, there are 2 restrooms, and they're kind of skinny and long, and one of them is suitable that we can put a shower in. There's no window or anything, so we're going to remove the commode, put the shower in one side, and then have the other part as the other door is the other restroom, which will be nice because someone can go take a shower and then they're not blocking the whole bathroom situation. And that's really all we need critically to get them moved in upstairs. And then that estimate is there. And that estimate was from Dave's Custom Carpentry. And then the downstairs situation, ideally, there is one restroom downstairs, but there is no shower. But if we're going to house several ladies in even an emergency shelter, we're going to need another restroom. And we're going to need, at minimum, and we'll need the shower. So that estimate is there. I put in about $1,000 for miscellaneous supplies, cleaners, brooms, and that sort of thing that we might need, totaling $25,582. And I know in the past, we've just kind of ballparked it, so this is as, I guess, precise as I can make it. But Bruce did remind me this morning, and I should have added it into this, with plumbing, sometimes you go in and you take something out and that pipe breaks, and now I got to replace that pipe. So what that doesn't include is any wiggle room for oh, darn, something broke. So
So it doesn't include any contingency.
it doesn't. So I don't know if 30,000 even would be a more logical ask. And then again, just like with the other project that we've brought to you, we wouldn't utilize the money until it's needed. So we could put that contingency in there and quite possibly not need it at all. And then with the property being gifted to the guest house, and when we get the legal paperwork for the transition done, I would ask that the guest house board be the fiduciary for that, and I can work with them to help bring, the bills or whatever it is that, however the auditor's office would like to work that out. Questions?
So I'm going to say, I don't have questions because I've been a part of this process, meeting with everybody. So I'm not going to ask any questions because I know everything that's going on. So I will open the floor to Joe or Steve.
I don't have any questions because I appreciate all that you've done for it, and it looks like that
I have a
you
big
and the
team.
Hope Initiative.
There's only 3 of them here, but
Yeah,
let me
it's-
tell you this.
right.
And Jamie Owens is here. I
Guest
did not
house.
acknowledge her.
Thank you very much for your efforts, and hopefully it's going to be a successful project. Thank you.
I think so, and this will open us up for a lot of funding opportunity grant-wise, because I know that the state is pushing forward transitional housing grants and things like that, and just simply to have that property, if you will, in place. It's kind of like the Ready Grant. They tend to award funds to people who have a solid structure, going on, and to be able to say we have a building, a building that people can actually be in, will go a long way with that. So. Steve,
Yeah.
anything?
You're going to be able to staff and handle this all right?
Well, the guest house, and that is one of the things that in phase 1, definitely they don't have the funding and things to staff that. I've been speaking with Heart of Indiana United Way and a couple other groups. And so as far as the transitional ladies upstairs, we've got that covered with how that program is set up because they're pretty independent. And we've got the security system in place, so they'll be able to come and go as they need to. Jamie will have constant communication with them. So that part is taken care of. So there is an outstanding need for some staffing in the emergency shelter, but we have options for that, and which is why I didn't include it in this first ask, because I didn't want to lock us into anything specific.
And it's going to take, I think, when they were talking the construction, it'll be probably February or March before that's all done, maybe.
I'm being crazy, stupid, optimistic that I'm going to
Oh, twitch your nose.
I'm going to do
and
everything
yeah.
I can to make sure. I don't know. I hope it goes smoothly. And this gentleman, Dave, he does really good work. So as soon as possible. I mean, probably realistically February, but my gosh,
Right.
I want to get these people out of the streets as soon as I possibly can.
Yeah, we have a large need.
We do.
Right now.
We do.
And I think it's a good thing that we can jumpstart and get the Fresh Start housing going. Who knows, maybe it can be simultaneously in both places. Maybe we'll have a need to fill both places, I don't know, but at least it gets it started.
Absolutely.
So we can move forward. So with
Does
that.
anyone, Nan or Ed or Jamie or Bruce, do you have anything to add to that, or comments or questions for the commissioners?
It's contingent upon the guest house accepting it? Right,
Right.
okay.
We just knew that with it being the end of the year and the way your meetings fell, that it was prudent to bring it to you now because of the process of, so Joel's heard the process, he's got the ask, and then if something changes tomorrow evening, I'll communicate that to you first thing Friday morning and say, hold off.
Okay. So with that being said, I will make the motion to approve or appropriate up to $30,000 of the opioid monies to this project.
I second the motion.
Wait, let me modify it. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Contingent upon the guest house accepting the building. Sorry.
I don't know if we can do it now, Joe.
Now you can second it, Joe.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you all.
Brian? Dang. Mr. Copeland?
Penny's not listed on here. Did she have anything?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We can ask.
Morning.
Morning.
First thing I want to tell you, we're doing a study at the intersection of 500 South and 25 West. I looked up the accidents history for, approximately the last 6 years, from 2018 to present. There's been 5 accidents, 3 in 23, 1 in 20, and 1 in 18. So it doesn't meet the requirement. The requirement's 5, but to go to a four-way stop. So, but we have traffic counters out currently, counting traffic, and we got to look at those pretty close because of 103 closure. All right, so see how that comes out. We'll be picking those up Friday, and then we'll download the information then next week.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the accident? You said there was 5,
5.
2018, 20.
23.
1 in
23.
2018, 1 in 20, and 3 in 23.
Thank you.
That's what I found on the state database. So hopefully here in a couple of weeks we'll have some idea of what it looks like. Of course, we have to follow the Indiana Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. So we're locked in for the warrants for it. So, next item, and this is the last one, is annual bids. We're due at 11.
Did you guys bring those in, or does Debbie still have them? Okay.
And I
Sorry, Debbie's in another meeting. But
I
she'll
didn't know
get 'em.
if you wanted to open them now or toward the end of the meeting, or what do you want to do?
We can go ahead and open them.
And then you can
and then
review
You can
them.
review them, and then we'll bring
Yeah,
it
and then
back
I can
up.
come back at the next meeting with my recommendations.
That works.
All right. And that's all I had this morning. So, any questions? I just found out that community crossing matching grant funding was $1 million a year. They've moved that up to $1.5 million a year. So I've got a couple of projects. I was looking to do one probably locally because of the $1 million match problem, but with $1.5 million, I may do 2. I got a bridge there on Garner Street that needs a new deck. Is bad. And I've got chip and seal I'd like to do throughout the county with contractor. And with $1.5 million, I think I can ask for both. And I think that's what we'll do. We'll put applications for both. So that's a good thing. Hopefully they have enough money to fund when all the requests, because there's going to be a lot of them. Of course, in the past, a lot of that money seems to be working its way toward urban areas, even though it says rural.
Yeah.
But it's at their discretion. That's kind of a joke. But anyway, if you need any help with the bids, let me know. And I'll get a copy after the meeting.
Okay.
so I can review. Thank you.
Braden, do you have anything to add to that? No. Since you're here? You sure? It's not hearing your voice. I just thought maybe you want to get up and talk for a minute. Penny, since we skipped you inadvertently, do you have anything? Well, I just don't know what to do with that. Okay. Mr. Rust.
The Drainage Board's asked me to come in front of you to discuss the following Drainage Board member terms expire at the end of 2023. It's Steve Houchins and Chase Heinhold. Both members have been in the Drainage Board previously, do a good job. Both members have indicated their desire to serve again. The Drainage Board would recommend their reappointments. These two members are in compliance with the IC Code 36-9-27-5. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Do I have any questions from the board? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to reappoint.
Second.
Motion and a second to reappoint two board members to the Drainage Board. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I would just ask that next time we get those in advance of the meeting instead of during the meeting.
Okay. The one problem, we didn't have a meeting last month, so we were going to do it this
understand.
meeting. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, we usually do. I don't think we've ever missed any.
Right.
Yeah, I think we've got them in every time.
Motion carries 3-0. Thanks, Steve. Mr. Green, do you have anything? Josh?
Your mic's not real sharp.
Good morning. I have just one item in addition to what's on the bottom of the agenda, which if you want me to hold off on that, about the flock safety, I can come back up here.
Yeah, you might, because this way gives us a chance to get through these
Okay,
bids.
yep, no problem. So all I have, Captain Pierce provided me with the police protection agreement for 2024 with the town of Spiceland. Looks like the Spiceland Town Council has already signed it, so I would just like to provide this to y'all so you can look over it, and we just ask that we be able to continue that agreement with the town of Spiceland, as they reimburse us for to have police protection there in Spiceland. So I will leave this with you guys, and we can look over it.
I'll just say that I'll make a motion to table till next meeting so we can review. I know it's the same, but I'll make a motion to table till next meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to table that to our next meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
I don't see anybody.
There's auditors, clerks, clerk.
Any corrections? Nope.
There's Mandy.
Yep.
Mandy, do you have anything?
Actually, she's not even on here. Did you shake your head no?
She said no. Well, that takes care of those. Do we want to do the bids, or do we want to?
You want to just go through the rest and do them before we do the,
We can.
just the board appointments, and then we can do the bids before new business, because those will go very quick.
Okay, I have next up is the RDC appointment. There's a recommendation to reappoint John Madison, Paul Jensen, and David Gratner for continued service to the RDC. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve those appointments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, excuse me, sorry.
Motion carries 3-0.
Sorry. Haven't had enough coffee this morning.
BZA has a board member whose term is expiring. What's our pleasure? We just want to,
Hey, Tom, you want to come up and talk about the board appointment for the BZA?
I think we looked at that, and Matt Chapman was the only one that was up. And I discussed with Matt if he wished to be reappointed, and he said he did.
I'll
So-
make the motion to reappoint Matt Chapman to the BZA.
I second the motion.
motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Greensboro Township Advisory Board, Debbie Ware wants to be appointed to that. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Debbie Ware to the Greensboro Township Advisory Board.
I second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next up, Spiceland Township Library Board, appointment for Darren Jacobs. Do I have a motion?
Motion to appoint Darren Jacobs to the Spiceland Public Library Board.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0. Next is Henry County Community Health Board. A conversation was held with John Pigeon about his community service board member, community health, and he would like to serve another term. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next, we have a grant application from New Lisbon Broadband. And this letter is support of New Lisbon Broadband Communications, NLBC Next Level Communications Broadband Grant Application. Do I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the letter of support for the grant application.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next, we have from, this is the solar farm. We have a letter wanting us to release their bond agreement for the road use. Joel, would you like to weigh in a little bit on this?
Probably before you do so, you want to confirm all the vendors, the contractors on the project have been paid, so I'd probably suggest not taking any action on that until we get that final confirmation on it.
Okay, so I will make the motion to table this until we can get confirmation that all the vendors have been paid before we release the line of credit and the road use agreement.
I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. And next we have a total eclipse safety meeting in the Henry County Courthouse courtroom, second floor, which is where you're at now, Tuesday, January 9th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And they want to know who should attend is the Eclipse event planners, businesses, and general public. So anyone who's interested in attending this meeting, it is January 9th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I don't have any information on
The HSA?
right now, so
Okay,
you want to
so-
address that?
Yeah, so we were notified that the Henry County government HDHP plan is required by the federal government to increase the single deductible from, I believe it is $3,000 to $3,200 to stay embedded for 2024. We don't have a choice but to raise this, but we were asked if we want to wait until renewal or go ahead and increase that January 1st. The reasoning for increasing January 1st is if we wait till June and somebody has already met their deductible in May of $3,000 and we increase it in June, then they're going to have to increase their deductible, pay an additional $200. They've kind of met. So it's just if we're going to increase it January 1st or middle of the year. And I will read what, we technically can wait until June to change this, but given our deductibles are calendar year, a lot of groups are choosing to change it to January 1st rather than increase the middle of the year, possibly after someone has met the deductible, and then it would have to meet an additional $200. Ultimately, the employee is going to pay the same either way, so it just depends on whether you feel it cleaner to go ahead and let them know for January 1st or changing it mid-year. So I will make the motion to change it January 1st. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Might as well start it now. We don't have a choice in it anyway.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next, we have a letter of support for the State Road 38, State Road 234 interchange, I guess if you want to call it for lack of better words. Joe, would you like to comment on this, or do you want to, or?
You want to write the letter of support and we'll just sign it?
NDOT's looking at the intersection of State Road 38 and 234. They've had some accidents, not a huge amount, but enough that, you know, they're taking a look at it. And what they're asking for, they've got a preliminary design idea to have 234 90-degree angle there with 38 at the curve, which is a good idea. And they're asking for a support letter because they have to submit this to central office, and they dole out the money, but they need all the help they can get to raise that up on the priority list. So they're asking for a letter of support if possible.
Okay. Say on the preliminary,
So they're wanting to take it,
Yeah, if you're coming from the west, you would
curve
around
right
the
there
curve
at REI,
and then
where
meet-
that little drive is between there. There's
meet
kind of a little.
38 at
yeah.
right angles like a usual intersection. And the sight distance there is because it's right pretty much in the center of the curve, it looks like. So, yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay. I will make the motion to provide a letter of support.
I second.
And I think they have to have it by Friday. Is that right, Joe? Yes. Okay.
I have a motion and a second for a letter of support for this project. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Next, I have bonds. Can we do these all three at the same time, Joel, or do we do them individually?
I think you can do them all three at the same time. You just need to read into the record what the three bonds are.
Okay. I have a bond for the auditor's office for $30,000, and I have one for the prosecutor for $15,000, and then I have one for
Prosecutor.
I've got another one here for $30,000, not to exceed, for the auditor's office. And I have one for the treasurer's office for $100,000. And I have another one for $300,000 for the treasurer's office. One is for Bill L. Yepchurch and one is for Jody French.
There should be a blanket policy in here as well.
Yep, here's a blanket one for $10,000
Yep.
for the treasurer's office.
I'll make a motion to approve the bonds as presented.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the bonds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. next up is discussion of lease agreement for the sheriff's department vehicles.
How's it going? So, yeah, so just looking for approval to partner with the county sheriff's department to help get the 4 vehicles that we talked about, to help replace the fleet and help with the overall maintenance and overview of the fleet and the expenses. So, yeah, did you guys have any questions, I guess, from our previous meeting? I think I was able to send everything that you requested, so I just want to make sure we were good there.
Well, I mean, I feel like we're beating a dead horse to
Right,
death.
I know.
And frankly, I'm over it. I could care less, and I said this before, whether we lease or not. I really don't care one way or the other. A lot of it, from a financial standpoint, it just doesn't make good sense for the county at this point because, and nothing against what you guys are doing, but there's not a funding mechanism in place to fund this every year. And if they did, by the end of the third year, we're at $246,055.68 payment, which with the additional appropriations that the council just had to approve for this year, and it looks like we're going to be doing the same thing next year, roughly $1 million. I'm just trying to figure out where this money's going to come from. So I have a real issue just to get 4 cars when a lot of the information has been given to the sheriff's department through citizens and this board and other boards that there's a way for them to purchase a lot more vehicles.
Yeah, and then I know in that 10-year model, I know that was one of the things you brought up last time too. The biggest piece of that is obviously if we get the new vehicles, it's going to drop your maintenance and fuel expenses. So from an overall budget standpoint, we're trying to continue to drive that down, even though the lease payments are there. And then obviously the resale on that is going to the county as well. So yeah, obviously I understand that, that heartburn. The whole point is to continue to drive that total budget down when you look at not just the lease payments, but the overall expenses when it comes to maintenance and fuel and resale as well.
I don't think that, it's still, to me, it boils down to, we're only going to give them 4 cars, and if they're not going to fund anything more than that initial payment, then for the next 4 years, they're going to have those same 4 cars, and that's all they're going to have, because there's no mechanism in here anywhere that says they're going to be allowed to buy more than the 4 cars we initially start with. And I guess that's where I have it. I mean, it's just me. I have 2 colleagues here on either side of me that can weigh in at any time, but these are issues that I have, and if I play the part of taxpayer as opposed to commissioner, this just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, I guess. So I would like to see our fleet get into a rotation to where they can rotate cars out quicker. That would also help alleviate that maintenance cost. But I've been on my soapbox. It's open for discussion.
I don't even know where the sheriff's department stands on it this time because we've heard both sides, so I'm not sure what's going on.
My main concern, and I've said this all along, I have a problem signing a contract that the council has stated we don't know, we can't guarantee the funding's going to be there long-term. And so I'm just going to make a motion to deny the leasing agreement.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to not enter into a lease agreement at this point. I would like to say that I appreciate all your effort and all that you've done here. And to me, it's something that wouldn't be entirely off the table once we get something set up, because I just got an email yesterday evening about a whole bunch of government issue vehicles that could be purchased at a very reasonable rates. I looked through, I think the first 100 on those pages was as far as I got before
I think I got the same one. I actually forwarded
Yes.
it on to the sheriff's department.
I think if we could get started there to get the bulk of vehicles purchased for the sheriff's department, that would get them adequately supplied, and then we get into a rotation, and if that meant at that point we could lease, and that does seem feasible, I'm not opposed to revisiting it later on, but,
Right, and sorry to interrupt, I know that from a funding piece too, just, and this could be future conversation, you don't have to lease as well, you can still pay cash through us. I think we were just doing the leasing part just to be able to get more vehicles instead of just settling for one, I guess, what the council
and
approved.
yes, and that is correct. And also, I know there possibly needs to be just some discussion, because I know the sheriff's department didn't want to be fleet managers any longer, at what that cost entails to possibly maybe even enter into an agreement with you or someone to help take that off of their plate, I guess, for lack of better terminology.
So let me ask this question, is fleet management available without leasing at $6 per car per month?
Correct, so there's still a, yeah. you
Without
don't have to-
leasing, without buying any cars, is the fleet management option still available at
So-
$6 per car per month?
We would, yes, but I guess to answer your question is, obviously the whole point of, benefit of our
Sure.
partnership is to cycle
Sure.
for the fleet. So part of that process is us taking over some of the title and some of the, helping with some of the things. So yes, we don't have to.
Yeah, we
lease.
do have
You
fleet
can pay
management within
cash and
Stillman. I
just do-
know Annette Stone has done it in the past for, I think, for Butch's administration, and I believe also for Rick's administration. Annette did all of the fleet management.
Right, so, yeah, to your point, we wouldn't have to necessarily lease any vehicles if we just needed to do what we call like title transfer or dollar buyout, so we can have the title to manage those processes, we can do that as well. We don't have to go and order vehicles and lease them, to answer your question. So, yes, there's ways to do that.
Okay. All right, well, I have a motion and a second to not enter into lease. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0. Thank you,
Thank you for
appreciate
your
it.
time.
Okay. Josh, do you want to discuss your flock cameras now?
So, I think most of you are aware, we've discussed flock cameras in the past, just to review that. License plates are entered into the National Crime Information Center, things like wanted persons, stolen vehicles, abducted children, missing persons. These cameras will take a photograph of that plate, run them through the database, NCIC database, and it will send us a text message that, for example, a red Chevy with the license plate just passed through this flock camera, and it will alert us. Then we can send deputies to intercept that vehicle. So we have been approved for budgeted two cameras, for two cameras. And dealing with the state's always fun. So this has been in the process for quite a while, a camera on US 36 just west of Mechanicsburg. I was just notified the other day that though we're entering into this agreement, the sheriff's office with the state, basically it says that we have to enter into an agreement with NDOT regarding installation, construction, and all necessary maintenance of the law enforcement equipment. NDOT will provide an agreement drafted by its legal department after submission of the application. So I have been signing documents, and they told me that I need signature authority from the commissioners to be able to enter into this agreement. Flock Safety, they do all of the work. They install the camera, the poles. There's very minimal, I mean, you can imagine to install something in the ground, it's not going to cause a lot of, it's not a lot of work. They do it. They take care of all of that, but nonetheless, they require that we enter into an agreement with them that we'll make sure that it's installed correctly, that the ground is restored to, you know, what it should be. So they informed me that you all need to give permission for me to be able to sign that and reflect it in our meeting minutes. If not, I can just bring it to you all and you can sign it, but
Well, and that's typically the process. Anything that obligates the county to do anything comes to us. Actually, like the flock camera contract, was it reviewed by Joel before you signed it? Did you review the?
we're purchasing,
I understand, but if
Equipment.
there's an agreement, then it should have been reviewed by Joel
Everything-
first.
no, I disagree. Everything that we buy, we don't have to run by you all.
If it's a contract, it should be. I didn't say you run it by us. I said it
It's not a
should be
contract.
reviewed.
It's not a
But
contract.
any of these agreements that obligate the county to repair, restore, or even if it's the flock that says they're going to do it, it comes to us.
Well,
I'm not
and-
saying that we would always do something like that, but it
Right.
needs to come to us for signature.
The issue was, and it was my understanding, the agreement was between the sheriff's office and the state. That's why I was confused on why they needed signature authority from you all.
Because
Joel,
we're
you want to
liable.
raise on?
Nonetheless, it's the
And I'm
state's.
assuming it's because of liability would be my guess.
You want to
And-
weigh in on this,
And
Joel?
probably, yeah. I have no problem just bringing that to
And I
you
see
all.
Joe Copeland kind of furrowing his brow a little bit listening to this. I don't know.
I'm just worried about right-of-ways and stuff. Who takes precedence over right-of-way, being you're putting it on a state highway, because then it definitely would have to be a state agreement.
Yeah,
Or,
and that's kind of what I was, made sense to me. It's on a state road. That's why we were entering this agreement with the state. I don't want to make a huge deal out of it. I'll get the agreement from them. I will present it to you all, and if you all would like to sign it, that's fine. I
Do
hate
you want to
have-
weigh in on this, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's obligating the county generally to do something, you probably should see the agreement, that's fine.
Yeah. So I will get that. I'll have the state send it. I'll get it to you all. And,
how many of these are you planning on eventually doing? I mean,
well,
You have an
right now,
idea?
we only have budgeted for 2.
yeah.
We have discussed the second one, a couple different locations. One of those would be Dublin Pike, which we would obviously have to get your guys' permission for that, near New Lisbon, and the other option was State Road 3. At this point, it would be nice to just avoid dealing with the state. It's automatic 3-month wait to get the permit, and this is just extended even more. But those are so 2 total at this point. It would be nice to get more.
And if you notice, I just want to say, like, when Joe brings us stuff that we have to approve for permits, it's not we're not going to. It's just, we're obligating the county to something, so.
I understand that. I do.
It's not oh my gosh, I have to review every I and every T. I mean, obviously, I have Joel, and we all do have Joel review a lot of things, just to make sure that there's nothing in there that is I don't want to say a gotcha, because nobody intentionally puts anything gotcha. But, or whether it's, Joe, you look like you wanted to say something. So, yeah. Yeah. So it's not like we're not going to do it, it just requires us to do it.
Sure. I understand that. That's what they recommended, and I know.
So are
we
they
all-
taking care of the maintenance and stuff on these after they're installed, or is that going to be on
Flock
you guys?
safety,
Or
Flock safety takes care of all of that.
is there a charge for any of that if something is wrong, or do they?
We had an installation fee they waived for us, so they're going to install it, and so it is their camera, we are basically renting it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to get that, we'll have it at our next meeting.
Okay, and I'll try to send that in advance to the meeting as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, last thing I have, short of opening bids, is I have a request for December the 22nd to close half a day, and December the 29th to close half a day to the public.
Auditor and treasurer.
Oh. Any discussion on this? And if not, do I have a motion?
So I'll make a motion to close December 22nd, half day. That's the Friday before Christmas, correct?
3:30.
3:45. Noon? Noon? I consider half day noon. Noon. I will make the motion to close at noon on December 22nd.
And the 29th.
With the judges being able to make whatever decision that works with their courts and the clerk's office. I'm assuming that they would get a half flex day.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I'm assuming we're doing these one at a time.
Yeah.
December the 22nd to close at noon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
And I'll make a motion to close the auditor's office and the treasurer's office to the public at noon, so that they can close out, balance out, and close out, so they can do their end of year.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. I did have another request that we possibly would change the time of our next commissioners' meeting and have it earlier in the day. Is there any discussion?
Give me a time.
I'm assuming 11-ish. Same as this one.
Joel, what's your schedule look like?
On the 27th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can make that work. And the reason to move it?
Basically because nobody's going to be here that week because everybody's going to probably be vacating because of the holidays, so there's not going to be a lot of attendance, so it just made it convenient.
Okay. I'll make the motion to do so.
Second.
Motion and a second, change the time of our last meeting of the year to 11 o'clock. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Now, do I have
Oh,
any?
wait a minute, we need to set, joint council, we'll have to talk to them, a joint council, commissioners meeting to review the scope of work when we get the finalized, to let them know what's going on for the DLZ, for the rehab of the buildings.
I'll say we can go ahead and tentatively have a meeting, just we'll confirm the time and date with them.
Yeah, if we could do it on the 27th at 11, we can do the joint at the beginning, and then, if they are, I doubt most of them can come, but the 11, but tentative. We don't even have to do anything, we'll just figure it out, yeah. I just wanted to bring that up, that we need to do that.
Do I have anything from the public? Seeing none, we will open the bids.
Let's come through these two. There, you can start while I.
Jeez. This one's for small equipment rental from Pritchett's Backhoe Service. Let's see here. See if I can find the actual page here. We have different labor rates. We have, there's no total cost, this is just done by, on the hour as needed, so I guess I'll let. Joe, is this for you, or is this for you and the Steve Rust? Just for highway small equipment rental? Pritchett's Backhoe Service. And here's one for dump truck rental from Pritchett's Backhoe Service. I'm gonna, these are some slide off the table. E&B Paving. Base bid of $920. Sealed bid. E3 Bridge. Shirley's have all their financials in there too. This is for corrugated pipe is 1 foot wide, connecting bands is equivalent to 2.5 per foot price, 2 foot wide, 2.75 per foot price, bands 90 inch and above, or 3 per foot price, pipe that exceeds 40 foot, length and 8 inch, width, additional freight and charges. Maybe a freight drop charge if it exceeds $5,000. Well, yeah. I'm just gonna say we accepted these bids. We're just gonna let, that's from E3 Bridge. Here's one from Silvercon. And this one's from Milestone Contractors. This one's from US Aggregates.
E&H Bridge.
This one is from E&H Bridge.
Hang on, I can't. East Central Contractors.
Okay.
Caldwell Gravel.
This is from Caldwell Gravel.
There we go.
You guys see liquid blue? This is from GJC for calcium chloride.
Marine Materials. These are both Marine Materials.
And this is from IMI.
Swoveland.
This is from Swoveland Trucking.
Falmouth Farm Supply.
This would be for fuel from Falmouth Farm Supply.
Timber Bridge.
American Timber Bridge.
Highway LLC.
That's fuel.
Metal culverts.
Culvert bid and culvert pipe.
I
That's
will-
it.
I will make a motion to set all the highway bids for fuel, stone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, as I can't list them all, as presented. And for Joe, excuse me, I have too many Joes and Joels, Joe, to review and make a recommendation at our next meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming up. I did that earlier. Yes. I did it while you were opening bids.